Why do popes change their names? And so we ask the question, why do popes take a new name at the beginning of their pontificate? The tradition of popes taking a new name at the beginning of their pontificate has its roots in ancient customs, theological significance, and historical precedent. This practice carries profound spiritual, symbolic, and practical implications, reflecting the Pope's new role as the leader of the Universal Roman Catholic Church. Now, we look at the historical origins of papal name change. Historically, the practice of adopting a new name began in the early centuries of Christianity, although it did not become a consistent tradition until the 10th century. The first documented pope to change his name was Pope John II, whose pontificate was from 533 to 535 AD. The question is why? His birth name, Mercurius, was derived from the pagan Roman god Mercury. Believing it inappropriate for the Bishop of Rome and the Vicar of Christ to carry a pagan name, he chose the name John in honor of his predecessors and to signify a break from his pagan heritage. The practice, however, was not immediately adopted by all the popes following John II. It became more common, however, in the 10th and 11th centuries, especially during significant political and religious upheaval periods. For instance, Pope Gregory V, whose pontificate was from 996 to 999, was born Bruno of Carinthia, and upon his election, chose a name that reflected his devotion to Saint Gregory the Great. This precedent established the symbolic significance of the papal name as a reflection of the Pope's spiritual mission and identity. It also has a theological significance. And what is it? The change of name echoes biblical precedents where name changes signify a transformation in identity and mission. For instance, Abram to Abraham. God renamed Abram to Abraham as a sign of his covenant and his role as the father of nations, as we see in the book of Genesis chapter 17 verse 5. Simon to Peter. Jesus renamed Simon as Peter, signifying his foundational role in the church, as we see reflected in Matthew 16 verse 18. The famous Tu es Petrus, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church. Similarly, the Pope adopts a new name to symbolize his new role as the Vicar of Christ and spiritual leader of Catholics. This act reflects humility and a willingness to embrace a responsibility entrusted to him by God. The name change for popes also connotes symbolism and continuity. The chosen name often reflects the Pope's intended focus, spiritual devotion, or homage to previous popes or saints. For example, Pope John the 23rd, whose pontificate was from 1958 to 1963, chose his name to honor Saint John the Baptist and John the 22nd, symbolizing continuity and renewal during a time of great change in the Church. We remember that he is the popular Pope of the Second Vatican Council. And John Paul II also, whose pontificate was from 1978 to 2005, adopted his name to honor his immediate predecessor, John Paul I, who had a very short pontificate of 33 days and expresses continuity in their shared vision for the Church. Pope Francis, upon his election in 2013, chose the name Francis in honor of Saint Francis of Assisi, emphasizing his dedication to humility, peace, and care for the poor. These names provide insight into the Pope's priorities and the direction he hopes to guide the Church. But this also has practical implications. One, the distinction from secular identity. The papal name marks a break from the Pope's formal, personal, and secular identity, underscoring his new universal role. Second, historical continuity. It places the Pope within a lineage of predecessors, symbolizing unity with the Church's history and its mission. The evolution of the tradition. While early popes did not initially change their names, the tradition became formalized over time. Today, the announcement of the new papal name is a significant movement during the conclave. It serves as the first public declaration of Pope's vision for his papacy. For example, in 2005, Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger's choice of Benedict XVI honored Benedict XV's effort for peace and St. Benedict's contributions to Western monasticism and culture. As a way of conclusion, the practice of popes taking a new name is a rich tradition steeped in history, in theology and symbolism. It reflects the Pope's new mission, honors the Church's continuity, and underscores the spiritual transformation that accompanies the papacy. And so by choosing a name, the Pope not only connects with the Church's past, but also sets a tone for his leadership and vision for the Church. Suffices it to state that every cardinal who enters the conclave is a candidate and had in mind a name to be called upon election. Thank you for this moment you have shared with us.